Hey guys, my name's Marissa, also known as Homemaking with Marissa. Today's video is going to be a Christmas breakfast recipe. I'm going to be showing you how to make these lemon blueberry cinnamon rolls. The base of this recipe was sent to me by a subscriber. She emailed me the specific ingredients for the dough and how to prepare it in the bread machine. If you have any recipes that are tried and true family favorites, please feel free to email them to me. My email is always listed in the description box down below. She stated that it was important to put in all of the wet ingredients first. I've already added a half of a cup of milk, and to the base of the bread machine, I'm going to add a fourth of a cup of water. I also added 2 tablespoons of butter as well as 1 egg. I will make sure that I list all of these specific measurements for this recipe in the description box below if this is something that you're wanting to recreate for your family. The recipe didn't indicate a specific type of flour to use. I opted for bread flour. You want to make sure that your flour is fully covering all the liquid ingredients in the bottom of the pan. You will need 3 cups of flour for this recipe. Next, I added 1 teaspoon of sea salt and a 1/4 cup of just regular white cane sugar. The final ingredient for your dough is 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast. I love bread machines because they do all the work for you. I will go ahead and take this, stick it into the bread machine, and it will make the dough for us. Now I am going to make the filling for these rolls. I opted for a lemon blueberry filling. I'm going to take 1 cup of fresh blueberries. You could use frozen blueberries, but you will have a more saucy consistency as they break down in the oven. To make sure that this filling doesn't become too runny, I am going to add some cornstarch. I added 1 teaspoon of cornstarch. You would want to add additional cornstarch if you were making this with frozen blueberries. To give it the sweetness, I added a half of a cup of sugar. These were pretty sweet, so I do think that you could get by using a 1/4 of a cup if you don't like your rolls to be quite as sweet. Next, I added the lemon. I went ahead and zested a full lemon and then added our juice before mixing this together until it came together and all of the sugar dissolved and the blueberries were well coated in the lemon cornstarch mixture. It takes about an hour and a half for your dough to come together in the bread machine. I will then go ahead and just roll it out on a piece of parchment paper, making it a little bit easier to roll it once it's been filled. Once you have a flat layer of your dough, just go ahead and spread on 6 tablespoons of butter. I try to make sure that the blueberries are evenly distributed across the base of the dough before I start rolling them up. I also make sure that the blueberries aren't too close to the edge so that they don't just spill out the sides. This is not a perfect science, and I am definitely very rustic in the way that I am rolling up this dough. If I were making traditional cinnamon rolls, I would have cut them using dental floss. I was concerned that with the blueberries, the floss would not be able to cut through them and it would just end up making a mess. I used a knife to slice these. However, I did not plan ahead very well and only ended up cutting 11 rolls when it should have been 12. I took a 9x13 pan. Because the blueberries are going to create quite a bit of liquid, I didn't bother greasing this, though if you're worried about them sticking, you could put some butter on the bottom of the pan. I just spread them evenly across and I'm going to cover them with a kitchen towel and allow them to rise on the counter. I always allow my rolls to rise overnight, but if you don't have that much time, I would say that an hour would be enough to allow them to puff back up. If you ever end up making one of my recipes, make sure and tag me in a photo on Instagram. My Instagram name is the same as my YouTube channel. It's just Homemaking with Marissa. Here's what your rolls will look like after they have risen overnight. We are just going to stick these into a 350-degree oven and allow them to bake for 30 minutes. Now I'm going to make our icing. This is a very simple lemon icing. I am just going to use some confectionery sugar. I used a cup of confectionery sugar for this particular roll recipe and then added a little bit of butter. I would say I probably added about a tablespoon of butter, though I didn't measure it precisely. Finally, I am going to use the zest and the juice from one full lemon before I combine our icing together using a hand mixer. You could mix it by hand, however, it wouldn't break down the butter as well and get it as evenly distributed throughout the entire base of the icing. You want to go ahead and add your icing as soon as the rolls come out of the oven so that they absorb into the top of the dough. These turned out really tasty, and I am looking forward to adding this to the list of things that I make my family for Christmas breakfast. If you're new to my channel and haven't done so already, you can subscribe by clicking on my face on the right side of your screen. I have an entire Christmas playlist for you on the left side of your screen. I hope you're all staying happy and healthy. Bye!